Hi guys, this is Juno and welcome back to another Summoners World video. So today is a tier list videos for the 2As. I'm sorry that I'm using a pre-made tier list that was done by Sean B, so it doesn't have the new 2As in here. At the end, I'll try to mention them and talk about where I think they kind of stand. However, because I didn't make any of them, I just seen some of the videos, I think I can only talk about a few. So please bear that in mind. Before we go into it again, this is based on my personal opinion. So I totally understand if you disagree with my tier list. However, I'm going to let you know that my tier list is based off mostly on PvP and obviously some PvE. However, I put a little more weight on the PvP side because eventually everybody's going to move on from PvE and eventually run their PvE content pretty easily. So that is why I put a little more weight on the PvP side, because you really want more units to use in PvP, I believe. However, that's it. I'm going to make this video pretty short. That's why the tier list is already made. But let's get into the video and talk about why I ranked it this way. So let's just start from the top. I don't want to make this video too long. You guys could always just look at it and just be like, oh, so that's your tier list. If you know the game pretty well, this is just my opinion. You guys don't have to listen to my explanation or anything like that, and you guys could just leave right now. However, if you want to know my thoughts and why I decided to rank this way, then please stay tuned and I'll try my best to explain why I ranked it in this format. Okay, let's just start from the top. So S tier, there's only one unit that I put there, and that is Vigor. So I did that because Vigor in the current meta, this is before any balance patch comes out, and I hope that the balance patch didn't come out, and even if it did, I hope that Vigor didn't get nerfed so that my tier list stands. So just keep that in mind. But Vigor is first place because it does so many things, and I have explicitly said this in multiple of my videos. Vigor does so many things for the team, that's why he's so OP. If you want to make him a full support, he does that job. If you want to make him a damage dealer, he does that job really well too, plus the support. However, obviously the rune requirements gets a lot higher if you go that route. But if I just lay out what he does, he defense breaks, he heal blocks, he speed buffs, he heals, he puts a crit resist buff, and he brings in a lot of damage. If a unit does that much, I think they are permitted to be in that S rank. Okay, so now we know Vigor, right? So it's pretty easy to talk about Vigor. So let's go to the next one. Escher. Escher is in A because he also does a lot of things, right? He almost does the same thing as Vigor. He heal blocks, he heals. However, he doesn't have a crit resist buff, but he does have a attack bar boost, which is a small attack bar boost, 15%, but still an attack bar boost. And he has a skill 3 that does a lot of damage. That's based on his max HP. And it also strips. It's a single target strip, but it strips. And it has 4 chances to do that, right? So it could strip multiple buffs at it. And another fun mechanic is that if it kills a unit using that skill, then that skill will be reset. So you could use it again in the next turn. And if he successfully strips a buff, then the hits after that will do 20% increased damage. Meaning if after using skill 3, if he strips a buff on the second hit, the third and fourth hit will do 20% more damage than the previous ones. So, seeing that he does so much there, I think it's easy to say that he's an A. The only reason that I didn't build him is because I never pulled an Usher. So that's why I don't have him. For some people who wonder why don't you have it when it's an A tier? I never pulled him. So that's that. The second one is Ikaru, and this is solely because he's used in so many parts of the game right now, which is the Dragon's B12, the Punisher Crypt, and also Necro. Really, if you just make this one team, you have 3 safe dungeon runs that you could run. I think that's all you need to know about that. Let's pass on to Ikaru. Third is Miho, and I know some people might disagree, saying Miho is not A anymore. There's so many counters to it now. Why did you put him in A? Well, I still think her passive alone allows her to be an A. It needs to meet a certain condition, right? You need to get hit by a non-critting hit to kill her. And I think that itself is really OP. I know there's a lot of counters. However, what happens if you run out of those counters? Is it easy to go into this defense that has a Miho? No. In RTA, if the opponent picks Miho on their last pick and you notice that all your units have high crit rate, there's always that 10%, 20%, no, 30% chance where the Miho could 1v4. So just knowing that, I think Miho is still an OP unit. I know people will disagree. However, I think she's an A. Fourth is a Xiaoling. Yes, I think Xiaoling is an A. Personal opinion, just because I love her so much and I use her so much. But I think her passive itself is very fun to use, where it absorbs attack bar if she attacks a unit that has lower HP status than her, and she vamps if she attacks a unit that has more HP than her. So she has self-sustain even without vampire, and she has control by attack bar absorption, right? And also her skill 2 helps with that because counterattacks allows her to take only 50% of the incoming damage. So she mitigates damage, and she's an HP type monster. She scales off of HP, her skill 1, so you can make her really tanky, and she's the definition of a bruiser that's tanky, hard to kill, and does some damage. And she controls. So Xiaoling is an A for me. Fifth is Crow, and initially I put Crow on B. However, I noticed that really Crow can be used both in PvP and PvE, and especially in the new, the predator that comes out, right, in the dimensional hole. I think he's being used a lot widely there. So just because of that, he's pretty good. And in PvP, if you rune a Crow really well, he does so much. He does a lot of damage. He does a lot of damage actually. So a really well runed Crow does more than a Perna. Well, does he? Well, he could have more impact than the Perna if he procs just as much. And also his passive allows him to, sometimes just one-shot things. So that's why I put him in A. The last one in the A category is Elucia. I think Elucia is the best out of the fairies that got 2A'd. And it's because she just brings in so much control in her kit. She is primarily only for PvP, I think. Nothing out there, but her CC that she brings in is pretty nuts. Skill 1 freeze, skill 2 heal plus attack bar boost on a single unit, and her skill 3, which is unresistible sleep. If it doesn't glance, that's a crazy skill, right? So because she has that unresistible skill, I think she should be in the A spot. Okay, I think those 7 units are the core in the top. Now before we go, let's talk about any other units that just came out. I think Thrain could be an A, but that's about it. And okay, yeah, Thrain can be A, and the water and light howl could be actually I don't know about A, because I still think Fran is better than the howls. Okay, maybe now because they got 2A, maybe their base stats are just so much better, so maybe they're not better than the Fran. However, Fran is damn close because she has an attack she has an attack attack boost? What do you call that? Yeah, attack buff plus will, which none of the house bring. Especially the water and light howl. They only bring in immunity. They do bring in more heal, but that solely makes them a I just don't think they're an A. So yeah, only Thrain. I think Thrain's mechanic is pretty fun to play with. He could get so much turn cycling. So in PvP, I think he will be widely used. Like people are already saying that he's a budget Okeanos without the cooldown, right? Cooldown reset. Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I was very disappointed with the new 2As. So they might not even be in my S or A tier. People could disagree. I know that there's people that already use them and they're so good. Great. I'm glad you're happy with them. However, for me, I just didn't make them When I read the skills, I wasn't that happy. I mean, I will be making Thrain because I have him. But other than that, maybe the Water Howl, and that's probably it. We'll have to see. But that's just my opinion. So knowing that they're not really an S or A tier, let's just go to the B tier and just keep talking about the list that I have. I think I'll go to B and then stop, and everything under it, you guys just probably know why it's there, and you guys could probably put in the comments why you think this certain unit should be in a higher tier, and I'll try to explain my reason why I put that certain unit in that tier. However, let's go to B. So the first one is Jotan, and Jotan was a very good unit. I would have put him higher to A if the Trickers didn't replace my Punisher Crypt team. Really, if the Trickers couldn't replace Punisher Crypt, I would put him in A because Jotan is a very good dark tank for that dungeon. However, because the Tricker team did replace him, I can't give him anything higher than that, a B. He is a very good light tank. He has a skill to stun, and his passive allows him to, I don't know, somehow be more of a threat as a tanker, because if you hit him, you get damage, especially if you crit. Well, only if you crit. So he has that interesting passive where he does damage based on his max HP to the unit that attacks him, and if they crit. So that's pretty cool. And also his passive allows him to land a defense break for 1 turn for every hit that he does. So if you put him on revenge, he could land a defense break if he revenges. I just think that mechanic is pretty cool. So I think every unit that has a defense break passive is great, like Lauren. So that's that. Crow, not much to say here. Very good unit for GB12. Very good unit for the Predator now, right? To kill off the boss early. And that's about it though. I think you don't really use Crow in PvP too much. So he's a solely PvP unit, and he does his job well in PvP. So I don't think he'll be lower or higher than B. However, if you make one or the other, the Naomi or the Crow, well, I think the Crow is better over the Naomi, to be honest. I think Naomi should be in C actually. I mean, yeah. Let's talk about Naomi first. Before we finish the Crow. We finished the Crow. So Crow is a B. But Naomi, I moved her to a C because I just noticed that if you make the Crow, there's no point of making a Naomi. Yes, the Crow is a little harder to rune because you need to give it the crit rate. However, if you run GB12 a few more times or GB11 a few more times, you will get those blade runes that will give him the crit rate to crit. So I really don't think Crow is that hard to rune. And once you have Crow, you really don't need Naomi. And Naomi is only mostly for GB12. So that's that. And the Bella, I think the Bella is cool. I mean, he was the first one that I 2A'd once the 2A came out. I thought he'll be a lot better. However, I currently do not use him. I think I should rune him up because I think there will be scenarios in PvP where I will use him. He was before used in, early game TOA, early game PvP, early game PvE. However, he fell off all those marks. But I still think that he could be used in PvP as a healer, a stripper, defense breaker, and attack bar booster. So I think it'll be kind of fun if I make him really fast actually. So yeah, he brings in a lot of supportive tools. So that's why I gave him a B. I still think that he's very good as a healer, attack bar booster. I think he has a very good attack bar boost. A stripper, his strip chance is pretty high. And he also attack bar pushbacks now with his autos after he got 2-8. Mina is a very good nuker in PvP for against fire units, and her base HP is so fast, 119, that it's really easy to rune her up to go first turn to kill off a fire unit. Her passive allows her to always crit if the unit doesn't have any debuff, and if she crits, she'll take another turn. Well, not to take another turn, she will hit another hit. So, I mean, this is the thing is, Mina isn't mandatory. Any of these on the bottom aren't mandatory, so maybe I should put her at a C. Yeah. Okay, she's a C. Spectra. Spectra I like because you could use her in PvP and PvE. He has the highest base speed in the game, So if you, for example, use him for PvP in RTA, you could give him a good Swift set and try to, try to counter cleave, right? Because you'll probably take first turn if you give him a plus 200 Swift set, and he'll easily take first turn if you bring in a speed lead. There's a very good chance that if they're cleaving though, that they'll ban this out. However, he has a use in PvP. He has a use in PvE, especially if you don't have Trickery. Very good in dragons. Very good in Toa Hell, Toa Hard. So good unit. Shaman, I solely put him in B just because of the new uses that came up with the new dungeon, right? He's very good within the new dungeon, especially the Grim Reaper dungeon, level 5, and also the Rune dungeon, because he's a light type, and his passive allows him to do 100% more damage against light units. And he takes less damage from dark units, so that explains everything. And Toa Hell, he's almost like a must, or he's very, very helpful against those dark bosses, because you really need to bring in that damage for those bosses to kill them off fast. Only reason I put him in B, if those new dungeons or Toa Hell didn't come out, he would definitely not be in this tier. So guys, that was it actually. I don't think any in the bottom tier should be coming up, but yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding the lower tiers, just please let me know, and I'll try my best to answer the question, and answer why I think they are in that tier. I hope you guys enjoyed my tier list. I really think the S and A tier are pretty solid. I think that's where they belong. However, if you disagree, please put a comment below, and I will probably just understand and take that in, because everybody has a different opinion. Or I could maybe make a counter argument on why I think they're so good. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there's anything else you guys want me to do in Summoners World, please put a comment below. If you guys like the video, please give me a like, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, because that really helps. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.